Is up, everybody? Professional wrestler Chris Wilde here with a midnight shift live stream here on Eagles News Now, live from the offices of Bar 4133. Now, look, I have tried this all night long. I had a scheduled show set up with a really awesome guest, and apparently my equipment was just not working. However, where there's a will, there's a way, and I'm too OCD to just stop, right? I'm just too OCD to give up. So here we are at the midnight shift, and it's funny because I actually work midnights at my normal job, if you'll call working in a prison normal. However, what I want to do right now is I want to bring on somebody that I have known what feels like my entire life. This dude is, you say like, I feel like people say this a lot where they go, oh, he's not my friend, he's my brother. In this case, this guy, I mean, I question if, maybe his mother had me and then gave me up for adoption or just got rid of me because, I mean, really, the only thing that's missing is the DNA when it comes to me and this, my first ever guest on Eagles News Now. He's a professional wrestler like myself. Traveled the world, won many championships, worked for the biggest companies. And I mean, he's just one of the most awesome guys I've ever met. Also, he has started Zac the Ripper Comics, which is an eBay store for comic book fans. As we know, many wrestling and football fans are comic book fans. And he's opened up this store to try to sell some of the things that he loves to people that need them and not for absolutely outrageous prices like you see. So let me bring up my first ever guest, Zac the Ripper Conner, and let's get him up here. And here we go. Did it work? Are you really here?
It seems like it's working.
Nice. It's insane. We were talking, I did like a test run, which you can probably scroll down because I didn't delete it yet. But I will by the time people actually watch this. And we're actually joking. I started this on the laptop because they tell you, StreamYard says, use a laptop. Don't use your cell phone. Don't use Wi-Fi. So I use my laptop, and it's crashing. It's not working. Everything's glitchy. Everything's slow. This is a $200 laptop. I have a $1,300 phone with a better camera and capabilities to do this. Why the hell am I using this piece of shit laptop, which is probably going to become target practice at some point? Joshua Mendoza, what's up, man? Fly, Eagles, fly. And we talk about the Eagles, Zac, and, I have memories of, as I gave you probably the best introduction you've ever gotten before. But I can remember to us being roommates in Camden, Delaware, and one of and this is a horrible memory, but I remember look, we did a lot of drinking, so I don't and I don't know if we were drinking then, so I don't exactly remember how we were mentally, but I remember watching the NFC Championship game back in 2008. It was the Eagles and the Cardinals, and you know what I mean? We both thought they were done, and I'm freaking out. And so everybody out there that's watching, can't hate on them too much for this because they are a West Coast team, even though they did beat us in the Super Bowl at one point. I wasn't alive for it. Neither was he. But Zac is an Oakland Raiders fan. However, I know your stepfather is a big diehard Eagles fan, as well as myself. So just, how crazy we can be. So going to that moment back in 2008 during that championship game, I don't even know if you can remember it. I mean, like I said, we're wrestlers. We've had a lot of hits to the head. But you have been around me during games and being around your stepfather as well. How do you deal that from the outside looking in?
First, I just want to say thank you for that introduction. It is probably the greatest introduction I've ever had. And you're probably going to lose all viewers and subs after this. But that's fine. As far as how I deal with it, I mean, you're an Eagles fan. You're a sports fan. I mean, I'm a professional wrestler, as you said, like you are. We grew up in a time where wrestling was bigger than it's ever been, and quite frankly, ever will be again, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I know that's a hot topic. We can talk about it down the road.
Yeah.
But I've experienced fandom at its highest in all things. And you and I are very competitive. So we've played sports growing up.
Yeah.
And to see
And
someone, losing their shit over something like that, it actually made me in that moment want to root with you for your team. I don't see it as weird. I don't see it as odd. I don't see it as annoying. I see it as awesome and enticing to want to join in and join that atmosphere.
yeah, and one of the reasons why, like, and not just because, like I said, like we're pretty much brothers, why I had you on here, is you're definitely one of this channel's biggest supporters. But also, like I said, I know you also, like, your stepfather's a huge fan, and
Mhm.
there's been times where, and you pretty much know, like everybody else that is close to me knows, like, look, just don't text Chris during games because I'm probably not going to answer anyway. But there are certain times where you're just like, Jesus, I can't, this is hard to watch, or like, so I know that there's that uh not diehard fandom, because you do have another team that has an absolutely kick-ass looking stadium, by the way. But like, you are around it and you live in the area.
Yeah.
So it's one of the reasons why I said, why not bring Zach onto an Eagles channel, because you're around. You know what I mean? Like, I can talk to Eagles fans all day long, but to have someone that respects the fandom and has to friggin' deal with it, because we can be annoying as shit. Let's be honest. Um, is a big thing. So another thing I want to talk to you about, and people watch these videos within the first 5 minutes, they can decide to click or click off. So I want to, in case they decide to click off, which I doubt they will, I want to get over this new store that you have, Zach the Ripper Comics on eBay. Give us a little your little take on what the store's about, and kind of like, we are, like, this channel is passionate about Eagles fans. You're very passionate about comics, so if you can go ahead and get into that, and let us know what the store's about.
Before I go into that, and I appreciate you letting me do that. That's awesome. I want to, before we move on from the Eagles, since this is an Eagles show, um, my first and only NFL football game that I've ever been to was an Eagles Dallas game.
Oh, no shit. I'm
Yeah,
sure
it
you've
was.
told me this, but I don't know. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I believe it was 93. It was in the vet.
Oh,
And I'm
wow.
sure
Damn.
there's probably some, Bazooka Joes down there looking it up to be sure. But
Absolutely.
it was freezing cold, and my mom, her boss at the time, had season tickets. He couldn't go, so he offered them to my mom and I. And I was a kid collecting, cards and comic
Yep.
books and everything, and I
Yep.
love football. So I jumped at the opportunity. And even though I wasn't, quote unquote, an Eagles fan, I was a fan of the Eagles that day, because
Oh, yeah,
there's
you had to
nothing that's
be.
going to get me to cheer for the Cowboys.
So, and again, before we get to the comics, which I definitely want to, um, I should have asked this before. What brought you to the Raiders? Like, what was it? Was it because of the cool uniforms? Like, they were known for being mean and nasty. Like, especially those fans down there they call it the Black Hole. Is their group of fans? Was it that drew you towards them? Especially them being all the way on the West Coast with the rest of the
Mhm.
Bazooka Joes out there.
Worthless.
Jesus.
I
So what
so
was it?
Professional wrestling brought me to the
Nice. Okay.
Raiders. So as a kid, and I'm talking, when I began my fandom, um, I never knew of the Road Warriors. I knew of the Legion of
Oh
Doom.
shit.
So
Yeah.
with my age, I saw the Legion of Doom come in to WWF. And when watching we would watch, whatever CBS and Fox and NBC gave us as kids. We didn't have
Right.
500 channels. So whatever
No.
games they put on that week, we'd watch. And when I saw the fans in the LA Raiders Coliseum at the time, in the black hole, as you talked about, they were dressed up and they had the spikes and everything. And
Oh
they looked
wow.
very similar to the Legion of Doom. So as a
Yeah.
kid, I see these ravenous fans that have all this paint and this crazy get-ups, and I related it to comic books. I related it to pro wrestling, and I just saw them, and I said, okay, well, that's who I like, and I just
That's
stuck with it because I'm
that's
I'm
pretty
not a
cool.
bandwagon guy,
And again, like, I feel like you've probably told me this before,
but we've drank a
but
lot.
I'm seriously, like, I'm kind of like blown away, because that is like such a good answer. You know what I mean? It's and like you're my boy, so I wasn't gonna be like, yo, that's really stupid if you just like a team because of their colors.
Yeah.
Like I know some Dallas fans. Oh, I like Dallas Cowboys because I love the star and the blue and the gold or blue and the silver. But like that is an awesome answer because of what you do professionally as a wrestler. And
Yeah.
again, growing up with the Road Warriors and then being such big badasses. And then yeah, I can visualize that guy in the spikes with the
Yeah.
silver face paint, and everything. Like I can visualize that. So that's pretty awesome. I also want to let people know because I did share this on Facebook. I don't know who the hell's up at midnight. But if anybody's watching through Facebook, I cannot see your comments. So the only way to get to me for comments, because I saw my good friend and great professional wrestler and instructor at the CZW school in Philly, Gabby Gilbert, was giving me some comments, and I couldn't respond because I didn't know she was giving them to me. So you're gonna have to come to YouTube and give me the comments there. And while we're on the subject of wrestling, and again, we're gonna get to the Zach the Ripper comic store. I cannot go any further without, you know what I'm about to do, give a little tribute to this big guy right here. This guy right here. This is James Kamala Harris. And on my one of the shitty streams I was doing earlier, I kind of brought this up, which no one will know because they're deleted. But this dude, Kamala, I don't even feel comfortable calling him James Harris. Like this guy right here was one of the guys that, and as a kid, and I know you can relate to this like me and like anybody that was a wrestling fan. And hold on, Eagle guys, because we're going to talk Eagles, trust me. But this was a dude when I heard people saying, oh, you like wrestling? Well, it's fake. It's all fake bullshit, right? Like, like Laps Kevin Nash or whatever. I'd look at Kamala and go, how the hell is this dude fake? Like, there's no way I believe that this is a guy that gets dressed in jeans and a polo or a t-shirt and goes to the freaking grocery store. Like, he was that believable. He was one of those guys, and this is what's missing from wrestling today, is that he was like, you'd pull up a picture of him in a magazine at that time and go, yeah, how's this fake? Or watching him in the ring. Jerry Lawler, I remember hearing the stories of Jerry Lawler saying he used to book Kamala to wrestle him because he was such a savage looking guy. Like, not Macho Man Randy Savage, but like he looked like a beast. And wrestling hasn't had one of those guys. I mean, Umaga maybe years ago, right? Even though like knowing that Umaga wasn't what he was portraying on TV, kind of made me go, man, I don't know. You know what I mean? And Kamala was definitely one of those guys. Like, I'll never see him as just being a regular dude. Like, that's a guy that made you believe, and definitely made me believe as a kid. And this Hasbro, I mean, he was beating everybody. He wasn't beating the Hulkster, but he was doing his thing. And my figure fed. I mean, he did get beat a lot because he didn't know how to pin the guy. He would do the splash on their back, and then he'd keep rolling. It's money, man. It's money. Any Kamala stuff you want to say? Jock Talk, what's going on, man? How you doing?
What's up, Jock Talk? I mean, you listen to the first couple of years of the Stone Cold podcast, and almost every single episode, somehow he brings up that story of when, before he got into the business, he was watching Jerry Lawler's TV, and what inspired him, other than like the Flairs and Dusties and stuff, what showed him what character were the vignettes for Kamala. And he mentioned it time and time and time again. And like that struck a chord in him. But I mean, I would say probably two of my biggest Kamala memories were obviously the Undertaker program, and people can say whatever they want.
Without a doubt. Before we go on, take a sip for the working man, Stone Cold style.
You always come in with a bang. I'm going to be.
Okay.
I'm going to be pounding with Polar.
Okay. Is that water?
Yeah, it's seltzer. It's all I drink.
Yeah, you bring up that Undertaker program. That actually, I got to. I would watch these pay-per-views with my aunts, and my old aunts. Everybody has the old aunt, not like my mother's sister, but like and she stopped watching wrestling because the Undertaker put Kamala in a casket. Because I think that was the first. or yeah, the coffin match, right?
Mm-hmm.
She was so like, I mean, she couldn't believe it. She was so disgusted and triggered by it. She never watched it again. But let's get to the Zach the Ripper comic store, and then I got some Eagles news, and then we're gonna bullshit for a little bit, even though it's midnight shift. We're gonna do this thing.
Yeah, who cares? There's people are going to join us. You got Jockstrap, whatever his name is. He's in
Jock
here.
talk, jock talk.
Jock Talk.
My man,
Sorry
my
about
man.
that. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate it. Zach the Ripper Comics. You can find that on eBay. There will be. It's only soft launched right now, and I have a
Something you know a
huge
lot about.
passion. What's that?
Something you know a lot about.
Yeah, soft launches. Yeah, that's what I'm known for. But I did a soft launch right now. There will be a hard launch later on, but on there I have almost 300 books at the moment. I've sold just under 300 in the past 30 days, so it's going really well so far. I ship internationally, and shipping
Nice.
charges suck, so I'm very fair with the charges. But there's a lot of cool stuff on there, and it's all at really, really fair prices. Everything is near mint condition unless otherwise stated. And if I state it's a reader copy, then to me, a reader copy is 8.5 and below.
Nice.
So on a scale of, 1 to 10, usually reader copies are 3.5s, but I say 8.5 and below. Very fair pricing. I upload books almost every other day, and that's a venture I've wanted to do for a long time. And I have copious amounts, thousands of books that I'm, wanting to put on there, that I've been collecting myself. And I'm a big speculator, and there's a big speculator market in comic books with all the TV shows and movies that are out now.
Yep.
And I have a lot of books on there, and I will mention straight up if they're a spec book or not. And I don't have them at the, hey, spec book $1,000 prices. They're on there at fair prices. And, in a world where, the pandemic hit and it hurt me financially, personally.
Mm-hmm.
And my body's beat up from wrestling, and I'm not able to do what I used to do. So I'm looking to do some side stuff, and this is the very beginning. I appreciate you letting me talk about it.
Absolutely, man. I think it's awesome. Like you said, this pandemic, some people don't go out. And I don't,
Yeah.
I agree with that. I do my thing, but this is no joke, this COVID-19. So you giving that service, and I know you're selling a lot of stuff that you really enjoy too, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's great. And so we've got a comment from Jock Talk where he says he's older than us both, and he loved wrestling too. And his favorite old timers were Rocky Johnson and Pat Patterson, which I think is awesome. I was going to ask Jock Talk who his favorite wrestlers were. Man, Rocky Johnson, man, that body, no homo. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but man, he was friggin'. Can you imagine him today? And then Josh Mendoza says, comics, ! He reads DC, which I think that's your go-to too, right? You're a DC guy?
In 2020, with the current books, DC is my go-to. Little DC Punchline Comic Con action. Overall, I do enjoy Marvel, but I personally think Marvel books 2020, what's coming out right now, is absolute trash. Absolute trash.
Well, I mean,
and I
that
think
kind of
DC's
fits.
killing it.
Yeah, that kind of fits 2020. And while we're talking about 2020, man, such a weird year. And that's an understatement. And, we talk Eagles here, and a weird year for the Philadelphia Eagles and the entire football league. Eagle fans, everybody. First year in the history of the league, and it hasn't been official yet, but fans are not going to be allowed at these games, which is just going to be insane to watch. Also, a lot of guys are opting out. The league has let them opt out. And basically what they do is no matter how much money you're making, and if anyone in the comments, if I'm wrong here, which I don't believe I am, please let me know. No matter how much money you make, if you opt out, it's like $350,000 that you get. So if you're making $38 million a year, like Russell Wilson, again, I'm probably gonna get people who are like, no, he's not. But you're going from that to $350,000. Now, to me and you, I'll take $350 all friggin' day, right? but to them, it is kind of a hit to their lifestyle. Um, the Eagles were lucky to only have one guy, that's wide receiver Marquise Goodwin, completely opt out. They haven't had anybody. The deadline was the 3rd. They haven't had anybody else, which is pretty awesome. I think the Patriots had like 8 people, whatever. So my question to you, Zach, being an athlete, and with us doing the wrestling, we've seen wrestling on TV without fans, and it's harder for the wrestlers because their whole job is based on fan reaction. While they play to the TV audience, how they're going to react or how they're going to act goes off the fans. We saw that WrestleMania 18 with The Rock and Hulk Hogan. How do you feel about performing, and how do you think that these athletes, these football players, how it might affect their momentum or their motivation playing? Do you think it will matter, or you think at the end of the day it's just a game?
Can I address the opting out first?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So I think the opting out is absolute garbage. And I know, like you're saying, that the 350K or whatever the number is, as an example, is a hit to them. But you and I can't opt out of our jobs, like our careers.
Yeah.
And if COVID has affected us and put us out of work, we can collect unemployment.
Right.
So in my opinion, opting out to take 350,000 as the example number, I think it's an easy day to just sit at home, and I disagree with it entirely.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm kind of sitting on the fence because I can understand like Marquise Goodwin, they had like 6 miscarriages, and again, I do not mean to disrespect them by getting that wrong. It might not be 6, but it's been a lot, and now they have a little daughter, and he's kind of thinking, I don't want to do anything to affect them, and I know what you're saying. I got kids. I don't want to do anything to affect them, but I have to, or these gimmicks in the mail, these bills keep coming.
Yeah.
But if my job said, hey, Chris, you can opt out we'll give you 75% of your check.
But it doesn't.
I might think about it. No, and they don't. But
That's the thing.
But I just can't blame a guy when he has that option. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm not blaming the guys either. The option shouldn't be there. The option the option to opt out should be there, but not to collect money for doing nothing.
Yeah.
These guys are they're able to get licensing agreements. They can make money off of that. It shouldn't be there, or they should be able to collect unemployment.
Yeah.
And again, everybody's going to laugh at that and say how low of an amount it would be. But, you risk your life, literally risk your life every night at work for your family.
Yeah. But, and again, we can go back and forth because we both have good points on this. At the same time, I can work at a prison until I'm 60 years old if I want to. These guys are like, once you hit 32, 33, you're probably not going to be playing football for much longer. You know what I mean? Like, and health insurance and all that kind of stuff is still going to be there for these guys. And a guy like Marquise Goodwin, while he is one of the fastest wide receivers in the league, and I wish that I would have got to see him and Deshaun Jackson on the field together, he's not going to get a lot of Nike endorsements. You know what I mean? Like, he's not a Russell Wilson or Pat Mahomes or Carson Wentz. Like, he's not going to have that. So at the same time, again, we both have, we could go till 4 a.m. on this issue. What do you feel about playing with no fans and how, you said earlier you're at a Dallas Philly game, so you have seen personally how a crowd can affect the game. How do you think it'll affect these guys going in there?
It's definitely going to affect them because, whether they started playing as a walk-on a few years before getting signed, or if they started as kids playing, Pee-wee football, you've always had some kind of yelling and screaming there. You've always had something riling you up, empowering you, and giving you that, adrenaline. And that's not there. And we're seeing it with baseball. Like, I grew up a baseball player and I'm a baseball fan. But if there's anything I can agree on with a lot of people, it's that baseball is the most boring game on television. So they've made it somehow even more boring because the fans aren't there. So is it going to be as entertaining of a product to watch? Probably not. Are the players going to have as much character and charisma? Probably not. One of the things we saw with the XFL this year was the charisma factor, that they let these guys,
Oh man,
be themselves.
Yep.
And they did that knowing that there was an audience behind them. So I think it's going to affect them because I don't think they're going to have as much adrenaline. Obviously, they're going to be pumped. They're professional athletes.
Right.
But at the same time, they're not going to have it. It's going to feel to them, I would assume, like a scrimmage. And if it feels that way, are they going to play that way? That's my concern.
Yeah, I agree. And Joshua Mendoza says, no fans are a big loss fans are a big loss to sports. Look at basketball. You can't react to the fans. He agrees with you. Yeah, man. It's just like I've watched baseball. And the funny thing is, if you listen to baseball on the radio, you don't notice because you hear the piped in stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just like, damn. You can tell the players are missing that like juice. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, and obviously they probably get tested a lot. So, but the one thing that I do like
sports were better with steroids, by the way.
And while I love what I like to watch though is these cardboard cutouts. First off,
oh yeah, Bernie.
First off, why the hell can't they proportion them correctly? I don't get it. Some people are just they look like people. Some have a background like it's like a 10-year-old cut them out like on an app. But I do like when they hit foul balls and the foul balls just rock these cardboard cutouts, man. Like it's pretty cool. So Bazooka Joe was in the room from San Diego, California. It's 3 hours. What time is it there? 9 o'clock or something?
Yeah, 3 hours behind.
And he says give someone else a spot if they opt out. Well, someone else is going to get that. Yeah, they have to.
They can't just leave the position open.
Can you imagine if they did? Oh man. But I get what he's saying. You know what I mean? Me and Joe went to one of the worst Eagle games I ever saw. It was Andy Reid's last year when he was just absolutely done. We went to a Monday Night Football game where it was they played the Panthers or something, and it was god awful. It was cold. It was horrible. But oh shoot! Look at this. Joe Jock Talk is from California too. He said it's 9:55 in Cali. So wow, two people in the chat from California. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, that's nuts. 9:55 in California. I wish, dude. I'll tell you, when I went to see Joe in California, it was awesome.
Wait, real quick. What is Jock Talk's picture? It's like Eagles merch on like a mannequin or something.
I don't know. What is that, Jock Talk? I think it's a baby, maybe, right? Josh Mendoza's from Cali too. This is nuts.
They're the only ones awake.
You know what? You're right. You're probably right.
They're the only ones awake.
That intrigues me because I'm going to guess that Jock and Josh are it's a pillow. He said it's a pillow. Jock Talk did. Awesome. But
they're probably all hanging out.
It's an Eagles pillow.
Okay.
I'm wondering how they got their Eagles fandom, being all the way in San Diego, California, or in California, I'm sorry. But man, San Diego's beautiful, but their sports teams absolutely suck. They really do, man. It's a shame too. It's a shame. Joe sent me pictures from Padres games where like there's nobody there, so they won't notice that there's no fans there. They won't notice.
No, that was a WWE house show 2 years ago.
Oh yeah,
I think Finn Balor was in the main event.
He's a nice guy. I like Finn. I like Finny. He's a nice dude. Waylon Assembly.
Let's
ask
about
this. How about this comment? Oh wait, Joe says the Padres are used to no fans. Absolutely. But what do you think of that one? You see that comment?
Good old Eric Bischoff.
Eric Bischoff for president. I know what you're trying to say, Waylon. Eric Bischoff for president.
What's up, Waylon? Lives are going to be in Waylon Assembly's hands.
Waylon Assembly, like Waylon Mercy. Yeah. Joe says if the fans are there, they're rooting for the other team. He's talking about the San Diego Padres fans. But that's how it was. I can't call them the Washington Redskins anymore. I don't care. Um, that's how it was at their stadium when the Eagles played them. There's nothing but Eagle fans there. I mean, like that's crazy. So while I'm on that topic, and Jock said Jim Johnson was a great defensive coordinator. He was the best defensive coordinator the Eagles have ever had. It's a shame that he passed away when he did. But yeah, I agree with you on that. And the Raiders, they beat us in the Super Bowl, as Zach has brought up to me before.
1980.
But again, that was what before the internet and before cell phones, and so anything before the internet is irrelevant to me.
It was before our existence.
Before our existence, exactly. But how about that? The Redskins not being able to be called the Redskins anymore. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, because it's good.
I'll tell you this. I know little Carson rocks that little DC Defenders hat sometimes.
Yes, he does. Wish he was
I
in
was
here.
at a couple DC Defenders games, the XFL games this year.
Yeah.
And as you remember me telling you, I'll tell your viewers, they were Eagles fans at the DC Defenders games.
I bet.
I don't think the Washington football team has any fans. I just don't.
No.
And they probably haven't had any since what, 91, 92?
I saw one fan the other day. I was in the gym, or I was
It was
walking
probably
in the
the
gym.
pillow, that pillow gimmick.
Yeah. I was walking in the gym, and I had this hat on, and I have a mask, an Eagles mask. Or no, I have a Phillies mask. I have an Eagles mask too, but I was wearing the Phillies mask. And this douchebag says, hey man, you got a disease on your face. And I just kept walking. He was like, and on your hat too. I said, what, the disease that like wins a lot? He was like, man, go Redskins. I'm still gonna say it. I said, well, they don't have a team anymore. So how smart do you sound? Like, you're the only Redskins fan since 1991. Like,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Get out of here. Darius Geis got. Geez, I'm glad that Jock Talk brought this guy up. Darius Geis, running back of the Washington Redskins. If you haven't heard, this idiot gets released and probably is not going to be in the NFL anymore for count of strangulation, 3 counts of assault, and destruction of property on a female. I don't know if it was a girlfriend or not. I'm guessing that it was. This is a guy that's been injured his whole career. He came into the league at 2018. A guy that the running back the Eagles were looking into bringing in, and Deuce Staley, the Eagles running back coach, didn't like him because of character issues. So now this all turns up. I mean, dude, again, me and you, we're not rich. We do what we got to do to get by. Does it make you as pissed off and angry as it does me when you see, especially a young guy like this, the whole world in his hand, like literally in his hands, and for what? Now it's all thrown away because you can't keep your hands to yourself because you got to touch a woman. It's insane. You play for the NFL, like you said, endorsements, advertisements. Yes, are athletes supposed to be role models? No, but they are. I mean, look at a guy like Kobe Bryant, who is revered. You know what I'm saying? Like, for doing the right things and being good at what he does. And you got this guy, Darius Geis. Look, yes, he's young, mid-20s, maybe the beginning of his 20s. You're not a kid. You're an adult. You know right from wrong. And a lot of these athletes do this, but it's 2020. And one of the good things that come out of 2020 is people aren't putting up with shit like that anymore. They're just not. I mean, I want to know how you feel. Like, does it get you because it absolutely irritates me to my core when I really think about
it. I'll be honest with you. Like when I saw your video on that, because I don't follow this stuff like you do. I watch Eagles news now for, a lot of the NFL news. And I didn't once think out of irritation or anger about the money and the fandom and all of that. What I was irritated and angry and disgusted at what he did. And I don't think it should even be an issue if he's, fired and never again, basically blackballed is what he should be from all sports and jobs. This guy shouldn't be able to get work, period.
And Man, it's such a tough. Again, like I like Michael Vick. I'm a Michael Vick fan, obviously because he played some good football with the Eagles. He did some horrendous shit. Me and you both have animals, have dogs, dog lovers. Um,
X's.
yeah, exes. I'm not gonna even go into that. But he did some really bad shit. But the guy went to jail. He did his time. Um, and really, I mean, he showed it since then in 2009 to now. The organizations he runs, everything that he's done to kind of spread the word against animal cruelty, completely turned his life around. Was a completely different guy altogether than he was when he played in Atlanta. And I see something like that, and it's like, I hope that these guys that beat the shit out of their wives or their girlfriends or whomever, and I know they're not going to go to jail. And again, I work in a jail, and I wouldn't really wish that shit on anybody. At the same time, I'm a father. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't to a daughter. Like I would destroy somebody that did that to my daughter. Um, so I mean, but maybe they need that. Maybe they need that jail time to become a better person, man. Because I mean, it is just it's animalistic, man. It's really animalistic. And it just goes into Washington's offseason, man. Like they had sexual allegations against basically the whole front office, radio broadcasters. They lost their name. They end up not even having a name. It's been bad there. And I thought just going back to the name, I thought the DC Defenders would have been an absolute awesome name to take because they had a fan base. The beer snake shit was cool. Those were Eagle fans that did the beer snake thing.
Beer snake.
I mean, the XFL itself, and why not? Let's talk about it. Fuck it. It's what, 1:00 almost now? So I can drop the PG stuff now, right? According to the FCC, I can start saying like, you know, the F word and stuff like that, or no? Oh, okay. Oh, all right. But man, the XFL was cool, dude. Like, and then people are gonna look at me and go, "Yeah, you think it's cool because you're a wrestling fan, right?" Yes, but because I like the old XFL. But at the same time, I can sit here and tell you that the old XFL, the product was shit. The guys, the play was horrible. The broadcasters were horrible. The broadcast was horrible. I mean, it was just a shit show. But I'm a professional wrestling fan and a professional wrestler, so sometimes I like watching shit shows. However, this new XFL, the product was awesome. PJ Walker is a backup in Carolina right now. Uh, Jordan Tamayo, the guy from the Battlehawks, the quarterback. Thank you. He's the backup to Russell Wilson in Seattle. Like, and there's XFL players all over the league. This shit was awesome. And like you said, they let them be themselves. They put cameras in the booths when they challenged the refs. The refs are mic'd up, so we were in that huddle, and you watch football, and you're like, damn, what the hell could they be talking about? You know, and that's one of the things that gets to me with NFL broadcasts. A guy throws a flag, and they have a conference about it. You got to hear what they were saying. You got to hear the players, the annoying interviewers would go up to their face, and then because of COVID-19, it goes away. So everybody looks at it like it was a failure, which I don't think it was.
Look at those ratings.
Yeah, I mean, dude, people were watching. It's a shame you never got to see the conclusion. And again, we were supposed to go to Defenders game literally when COVID hit and they canceled everything. Like, however, there is light at the end of the tunnel, and his name is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Dude, who better to buy that league? Who better than Canyon? Who better to buy that league than The Rock? I mean, think about it. The Rock is respected not only as an athlete, but as an actor, as a businessman. I mean, this dude. Look, I'm telling you right now, and I know your brother Aaron might be the biggest Rock fan, but I might be right up there with him.
He likes small rocks too. It doesn't matter what size.
Oh well, like pebbles and shit too.
Yeah.
But no, like this guy is like this dude he's just everything he does touches to gold, turns to gold. And he's bought this is how crazy, this is what I got more respect than anything for this dude. He bought the league with his ex-wife.
Yeah, I was going to say, you
Most
better
people don't
mention
talk to
her.
their ex-wife. Yeah, most people don't talk to their ex-wives.
No.
Let alone, most people are paying child support, which I'm sure he probably is too. But no, I mean, this guy bought a football a football, what do I call this? Not a franchise, league with his ex-wife. It blows me away. I think people, whenever he can show the shit on TV again, people are gonna watch, and
Absolutely.
it's gonna be a big thing again. I mean, when Vince had it, nobody really likes Vince because of his character and the stories and stuff like that, and the old XFL. So it got shit on before it was even put on TV. But The Rock, not many bad things you can say about him. Not many failures. Even the Scorpion King was decent, right? Or no, he did make the Tooth Fairy.
Yeah.
He did make that, right? Let's see. Well, I'm looking at some comments here. Waylon Semley, I mean, I think he's a pretty big wrestling fan, as he says the ROH offices are in Baltimore. I know they got a training school there. I think Cheeseburger runs that one. And he says money in college football mentally got kids thinking they're inferior, but one mistake, it can be over. Speaking of college football, I hear that soon they're going to come out with it's postponed for the entire year, which is insane. Can you imagine this COVID shit, dude? Like, we're thinking about it from football or from wrestling, but think about these kids that can't go to school. Like, could you imagine? Like, I mean, high school seniors that are depending on having a year and a good year in high school sports so they can get a scholarship. Now that's off the table. I mean, it's insane. Like, how would you deal with that? Let's say if you're a high school senior, like, would it be all right with you? Or, I mean, you're missing out on a lot of stuff that you can't get back.
I don't know. It's tough. I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong, and chat can too. Aren't most seniors already pretty much groomed and drafted to their colleges by that point?
Almost, but there are some guys that, like, that last year could depend on it. Like, you could be on the line and have a fucking amazing senior year. You know what I mean? And then it might be easier for you because, yeah, you're right. Like, I mean, guys are probably already towards the end of that year signed on to be with the college that they're going to be. But I know that for a lot of guys, it depends on that last year of stats to get them going.
It's tough because it on one hand, it gives guys and girls an extra year to, get better, get bigger, get faster, whatever you're looking to do.
Yeah.
On the other hand, as an athlete, you only have so many bumps in that card. You can only do this for so long. So that's a whole year of not being able to do it. So your value is going to go down, which means the money that ultimately is offered to you in the long run is going to go down.
That's crazy. Or just amateur wrestlers too. Amateur wrestling. I mean, dude, you miss that last year, you're missing out on tournaments, and
yeah,
I mean, it's incredible when you think about what this has done. Waylon Sembley says he used to work with these guys that were wrestlers, Derek Frazier, who I think we both know, and Art Samoa Dude in CWA, Maryland Championship Wrestling. And we both worked for MCW, Maryland Championship Wrestling. They're one of the, like, few indies that always seems to have thousands of people at the shows. Like, can't really say a bad thing there. I never got to work with Derek Frazier, but I know he worked for CZW back when, like, CZW was very popular and insane with the blood and gut stuff. So that's pretty cool, man. Small world, Waylon. Very small world. And again, if you guys are watching on Facebook, I cannot see what you're commenting. So you're going to have to go to YouTube. And while you're at it, why not just hit that subscribe button so I can get to 1,000 subscribers? Because this has been the slowest crawl ever. You know what I mean? Like, it's And it feels like it's taking forever to get there, but this is a grind. You know what I mean? This is just that's what it is. That's why it's 1 o'clock in the morning and we're sitting here talking shit and live streaming. I'm
How
so
many
glad.
videos have you done? Do you know offhand?
I think we're close to like 250, maybe a
Wow.
little more. There was a point, and again, like YouTube is great in teaching you stuff because there's a like I of course put in the search bar like advice on how to get subscribers or advice on a channel or whatever. And little did I know, the more videos you put out, it helps the algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
So when somebody puts in the search bar, I don't know, Carson Wentz, my shit might pop up. You know what I mean? Or recommended videos might pop up. I had no idea.
Yeah.
They recommend doing one video a day, which with this kind of um a niche, like that's hard to do, man. Especially in the off season.
Yeah.
You don't have games to comment on. Like, I mean, this past couple weeks has been hard as shit because the Eagles have done nothing. So it's like, what do you talk about? You got to find stuff to talk about, or that's why I do like highlight videos, watching guys' highlights or stuff like that. I mean, it's tough. And really, what I want to do, the reason why I want the 1,000 so badly, like a lot of people are like, would probably think it's because of the monetization or the money. Because when I go, when I hit 1,000, I can go live and get super chats, which are, if somebody likes what I'm saying or what I'm talking about or enjoying what I'm talking about, they get a little button and send me $5. YouTube will take $3 of it, but that's not the case. It's a milestone. It's a short goal that I had written down on my board to hit, and to be able to go live at games is what I wanted to do. But now there's going to be no fucking games, so, or at least no fans at games. But it's tough, and I know you're talking about starting yours as well. I feel like um, you'll have a lot of success with that because there are a lot of, to me, where there's a lot of Eagle fans, but there's a lot of Eagles content creators that have been in the game for a while. I think that, I mean, there's probably 100 times more comic book fans um, than there are football fans. So I think it'll be a really successful venture for you to get into, to help your eBay store, Zac Comics, which is a friggin' awesome name, by the way. But yeah, man, it's a grind. It's been an absolute grind.
Speaking of a grind, where's the camera?
Oh,
Pounding
you got
that
the
bowler
water.
just like we pound the pavement.
Yeah, White Claw.
That's what this tastes like.
Dude, so I've got a bunch of these left over from, this is all I would drink during the football season because it's seltzer, so it's got no sugar. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's probably the best thing to drink, but it's absolutely disgusting. I don't know if Bazooka Joe was still with us.
Hopefully he's perished.
He's gone. We're at the 48-minute mark. And dude, that's another thing, man. It's hard to talk for a long time. People don't understand how hard it is to sit and to talk. And like, it's a little bit easier today because I can talk to you and the banter. Yeah. You know what I mean? The Bruce banter that we have, but it's tough. It's tough. It's a bad one. It's a bad one. So everybody that's watching, so I think it's important to tell everybody that championship belt behind you, I beat you for that, right?
Real quick, you just blocked your own head.
I did? Oh, with the microphone? Oh. I don't know if it matters at this point. But yeah, I beat you for that belt.
So what I did, I put the entire company on my shoulders for like a year as champion. And you beat me in overtime. What was it, like 62 minutes? And then I think you lost it a month later, and then I won it the month after that again.
And it's funny. It's not funny, but I beat you for that, and there's no footage of it.
No.
There's no footage.
So did you beat me for it?
It probably if you chop a tree down in the forest, does it make a sound?
And I'm sure that fucking
That's not even
nerd
the right way
is
to say that.
somewhere online.
I
posting.
completely messed that up. If you chop a tree down in the forest, you'll hear it, so it makes a sound. The real way to say it is if a tree falls in the forest and no one's around, it doesn't make a sound. Unreal.
This
Unreal.
is
I was at
live.
the beach. I was at the beach today, and I got to be honest, man. It's one of the probably
I appreciate you being honest.
Yeah, one of the few times. But it's probably one of the safest places to go during COVID. Yeah.
You're glitching probably because of what you just said.
Nobody's around me. You find a spot where there's nobody. That was weird. Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, you're glitching.
But there's nobody near you. If you go to the beach and you're just on the beach, there's nobody there. And COVID doesn't survive in sand.
COVID is sand.
Proven point.
So,
Waylon Sem? COVID sand?
Yeah.
Oh, Waylon Semley says on Facebook group, he's on Eagles Fest. He can spread the word. Eagles Network. Yes, Eagles News Now. Go ahead. That would be awesome, dude. Spread the word. And that's, you know what? That's another reason, Zach, like why I started this. One of the things that I wanted to do was I found myself, there's a guy, his name's E-Rock. He's kind of out of the game now. I've showed you clips of EDP that we laugh about. I was finding myself watching these guys while I was on the treadmill or like in the car and just listening because radio sucks. All the radio stations are horrible. So part of me was like, man, if I can talk shit, maybe somebody can take away what, like the same thing I'm getting from these other guys. You know, and if I can just reach one or two people, man, my job is done. Jock says, Chris and Zach, who are both your favorite wrestlers of all time? Great question, and I will let Zach lead off.
I'm gonna have to go Dink the Clown.
Yeah. I mean,
Dink. Maybe Dink.
I think he was undefeated in singles action.
He was under a lot of things.
So,
and a serious answer as a fan, it was the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, like just 100%. And as a wrestler, it kind of started changing. And I don't know if Chris has this experience and mindset too, but once I became a wrestler, I noticed that it was basically Triple H that became my favorite. I feel like he's the all around
brown nosing right now.
Perfect wrestler.
Brown nosing. So Triple H as a wrestler and Shawn Michaels. I mean, you can't go wrong there. So for me, again, as a fan, the first guy that
I'm not brown nosing because I'm above 6 feet. They don't like me.
Oh wow, jeez. So
they only hire guys they're taller than now.
Hold on. For this,
Zach the Ripper Comics just hijacked Eagles News Now.
Maniac Matt is in the house too.
Maniac Matt, what's up?
So there was one guy that got me into this. Like, you know, I was a comic fan, superhero fan, right? So why not? I thought I saw some wrestling on TV, like I said, that my aunts watched. And a lot of it was really boring, I thought. They watched a lot of NWA. So I turn on the TV one day, and I see this guy, the Ultimate Warrior, that intro to Superstars. Remember that shit where
oh hell yeah,
all the lightning's going through his vein? Yes. Dude, I see that and I'm like, who the hell is this dude? I mean, this guy is like, look at
spiritual
him.
counsel.
Yeah. Well, bring that up in a minute.
Well, see,
Yeah,
here's the thing. This is kind of it. You're kind of answering a different question. You're answering the question of what got you into wrestling, or who, what
no,
wrestler.
because it's the same. So until he started disappearing and stuff, I rooted for the Warrior more than I rooted for anybody. Like, that was my favorite guy. And then when he wasn't around, I started growing older.
That happened.
He was cool, but Bret Hart was my guy after that. Like, there was something about Bret Hart. And again, like, it's hard because Shawn, and I liked Shawn too, but there was just something with Bret that maybe it was because I believed so much that I really thought, I was like, man, this guy's a good guy. Like, this is a good dude. Like,
You still do it.
this is like, if I was in a fight somewhere and I had Bret back then, let's just say there were cell phones back then. And Bret was in my cell phone, I would call Bret Hart. Not that he was the biggest guy, but just I know he's a good guy and he's going to do anything he could to help me.
Here,
So
hold on, real quick. I wanted to.
I loved Bret.
Hold on. Everybody always mentions, about
As a wrestler,
StreamYard's fucking up.
there's so many guys that I like. When you become a wrestler, you start looking at different things, man. There's so many great, especially from my side. Watch. Uh-oh.
If you can hear me, you are fucked up.
So, are you back? Yeah,
I've been here the whole time.
We almost went an hour before it eventually. We're on Wi-Fi, which is insane. But yeah, but go ahead. His favorite wrestlers were CM Punk, Stan Hansen, David Von Erich, Jay White, Naito, Kenny Omega, Okada, and the Young Bucks.
At least he only has a couple.
Are you still there? Can you hear me? Yeah. I'm glad that he gave us just a small serving of who he likes. But you were saying before we were rudely interrupted by Wi-Fi.
About Bret Hart, because I didn't hear anything you said after that. Mm-hmm. Like, everybody always says about Bret wasn't the biggest guy, and you and I have both done shows with Bret Hart.
Oh yeah, he's a big, but for that time.
Yeah, he's over 6 feet tall. Like, he's not a small. He wouldn't get signed now.
But Vince, you know what I mean? They put the belt on him after the steroid trial because he wasn't a real big guy.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, so, but as a wrestler, man, like I could pull out the Eddie Guerrero. And I know, like, you're probably thinking bullshit because nobody gave a shit about him. He had the mullet and he was wearing the white and the red in WCW. But again, you just start watching. You know what I mean? You just start like appreciating what he did. I guess I could say. There's so many guys, man. Shawn might be the best ever. He might be the best ever. Promo, work. The worst thing he did was cut his hair. And he did that when he was already retired. But yeah, and you can see it if you watch old Zac Conner stuff. You can see Shawn Michaels there. Waylon likes Latino heat.
I'll tell you this, even with horrible hair, when he came back for the one match, as awful as that match was, it would have been 10 times worse had he not been in there to be the glue that held that shit together.
Yeah. The crazy thing about Eddie too, while I'm on Eddie, when Eddie died, we were like we had drank a lot the night before after a show,
Yeah.
and then we were supposed to work. Then we had a show the next day in Philly.
At 12 noon.
Yeah. So we wake up and I'm like, Eddie's dead. And I remember you were like, what? And then the show was crazy because everyone did frog splashes. Like everyone was doing like frog splashes or like the Three Amigos or whatever. But like, I remember you saying that was like the first one that really hit you, right? The death?
Say that again. Hello?
Or no? Was his death the first one that really got you?
Was Eddie's death the first one that got me? Is that what you said?
Hello?
StreamYard sucks.
Everything looks good on my end.
It's probably these California guys hacking shit. Eddie's death. No, Owen. Owen was the first death that ever got to me for sure.
Oh shit. All out said, "Are you gays?" I think it's me. People say it's me. Yeah.
No, we both are.
My stupid internet connection.
I mean, I gaze at
Yeah,
cars.
it's the Wi-Fi,
I
dude.
gaze.
It's. Oh, you're talking about the "Are you
I
gays"
gaze.
comment?
Yeah, I gaze at cars. I gaze at comic books. I gaze at women. I gaze at meat. Like, yeah, I gaze at a lot. So thanks, all outs.
Yep. Yep.
Great place to work.
I mean,
I don't know if you heard me, but
oh,
no.
is that how you say it? Is that are we back? So it's just crazy that you would ask us about that, like gazing at things. I mean, I gaze at the Eagles. Sometimes I wish I didn't gaze at them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
there's
we're
so many
wrap
of
this
them
up because like the Wi-Fi. All out. I love that. Hold on. Look, that's got to go up there. That must be Bazooka Joe's sock account.
Yeah. Are you gays?
I appreciate the gay. Which there's nothing wrong with. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. What if we were? So what? Who cares? 2020. It's not 1997. It's insane.
This guy.
People can do what they want. They can do what they want. They can like who they want. They can marry who they want. You know,
they can be who they want to be. Adam's family.
Yep. And as long as at this point, dude, as long as you don't look, as long as you don't have COVID, I don't care. I think the whole "are you gays" thing is just like we were joking, but it's just such an like offsetting comment. Like
we were joking because of how offsetting and ridiculous it is.
Yeah. We were trying to show how dumb that comment was. Like, who gives a shit? Like, obviously, anybody that knows us knows it's probably the furthest thing, but at the same time, who gives a shit? So, again, thank you. But Maniac Matt had our back, dude. Maniac Matt had our back.
Good. Thanks, Matt.
Oh, you know what I wanted to, before we wrap this up too, and I want to have an Eagles comment here because I was wondering, I meant to ask you this the other day actually. So, if football let fans in, they social distance between the seats. So, like, we couldn't sit together; we'd be 6 feet apart. So we're talking 75% of the capacity, and they made you sign a waiver. Would you go? If it, let's say it was a Raider game. Let's say it was a Raider game.
No.
You would do it because of the waiver, or because of
COVID. It's not done.
I mean, at this point,
No, not
Will it ever be?
no. Then that's fine. I'll never go to a live event then.
Damn. See, I
Yeah.
would sign the waiver. I think I would sign it.
So did all of WWE, and look who got COVID. 30 of them.
Yeah.
Bunch of idiots. Bunch of
I,
fucking
I feel like there's just so much misinformation about the whole thing. Um,
It's not
I don't know.
misinformation. It's that we don't know, and that's what's scary, and that's why I can easily say no.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no because when this shit first happened, I was like, it'll be done by summer. Remember? I was like, oh, SummerSlam's gonna be
Yeah.
there's no way it was gonna last till right now. And here we are. August 10th. It's officially August 10th. Oh, you know what I think is about to happen? Depending on the time, Comcast is doing maintenance in my area soon. So probably gonna lose everything very soon because I have one of the worst cable/internet services ever. I pay for Blast Internet, which is insane.
That sounds like Sega Genesis advertising.
Yep. Which because it's really nothing.
Yeah.
It's just out of control, and I could change it, but I'm too lazy. Like having to undo all my equipment, bring it back, have more people come to my house to put stuff in. I'm just lazy, man, when it comes to that. So I'm gonna keep on, I guess, complaining. Maniac Matt says it's too dangerous, guys. We need to stay apart and wait for a vaccine in my option. Or my opinion. I'm sorry, I can't read.
Maniac Matt, I completely agree with you. The only thing is that there are heavy, heavy rumors, and hey, maybe it's from the Jesse Venturas of the world, that the vaccine is going to be mandatory. And if a vaccine is mandatory, then my mind goes to what all is in that vaccine.
That's what I was going to bring up. Again, I know some guys that are conspiracy theorists that say there's going to be stuff in that vaccine, like to where they're going to be able to track you, and who knows? Who knows? He's not Manic Matt's not a fan of that, and neither am I. I just hope for everybody's sake that we can just get rid of this. This can go away. I was looking at memory. That Facebook sucks for a lot of reasons, but those memories that pop up, seeing myself at training camp, or at wrestling matches, dude, it's just the fact that I can't bring my kids to Eagles training camp this year. It sucks, and I know like in the main world, like that's not a big deal, but like it's something that we look forward to, and not to be able to do it and not to be able to give them a good summer. It just sucks, man. It really does. I know a lot of people think that there might not be an NFL season. I pray to God that there is. I think they can do it. I mean, you tell me, like, as long as you got these group of guys that get tested every day, as long as they stay together and then go right the fuck home and then excuse my language, and then come in and play, and they don't see anybody but family, why couldn't it work?
Because I agree with you, but that's what the CDC has told us since March. And no one, as a society, our country hasn't been able to do it.
Yeah.
The Florida Marlins, or whatever they're called now, Miami Marlins, couldn't do it. So go ahead.
Yeah, they went to like a bar or some shit in Atlanta, and like idiots, and caught it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they just had to.
I don't think that the MLB season is even going to finish, unfortunately. And I personally don't think that there will be a full NFL season if it starts at all.
I think the only way it can really be done is how the NBA is doing it. The NFL can never do this. They have everybody in a bubble.
Yeah.
If they leave, see ya, you're not coming back. I think the Suns just told somebody, or no, the Trailblazers just told somebody to get the hell out of here. For that. But Jock Talk says Carson Wentz not in the top 100 is so bullshit. I agree. And Zach, I don't know if you're aware, the NFL comes out with a top 100 list, which is like, it's voted on by the players. So basically it's a big ass popularity contest. But at the same time, this is a ploy by the NFL or the NFL Network to get people to talk. That's why they do it. I mean, you've got guys in there that have no business being in there, and you leave a guy off like Carson Wentz. What's on ESPN the next day? Carson Wentz is not in the top 100, blah, blah. You got guys arguing about it on TV. They know how us Philly fans are, passionate. You got us arguing about it on radio. It's all it is. It's just a big-ass ratings ploy.
It's like you said earlier, what are you going to talk about in the offseason, let alone in the offseason of a league that might not ever be the same or might not even start? So you have to create content to even talk about, and that's what they're doing.
Ryan Tannehill's in it. That's all I got to say.
I don't even know.
I mean, it's just stupid. It's horrible. And Carson, man. Yeah, exactly. And Carson Wentz, he gets such a bad rap. It's everybody knows I'm a Carson Wentz dude, but this guy, the worst thing to happen to him was Nick Foles winning the Super Bowl. Because now every year he's got question after question. Is he good enough? Everybody's looking at every little thing that he does, but nobody talks about having 4,000 yards passing without a receiver over 500 yards. I mean, nobody talks about that because it doesn't fit their narrative. They talk about the 14 fumbles or the concussion during the Super Bowl, which is another thing, and I'm glad real. Let's see if we get him back. Because if we do, having trouble connecting, of course you are. Gee whiz. So, yeah. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
I can see you. I can see you blinking. All right, so look, I'm going to wrap this up. Just real quick. Everybody talks about Carson getting injured, getting that concussion in last year's game. Having a concussion is a very serious deal. You're familiar with that whole thing. A 250-pound man driving into your skull does not mean that you're soft or you're an injury prone.
Absolutely. And we should actually go in depth with this because of my concussion history on another free for all episode.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. We're gonna wrap this up because the Wi-Fi is gonna go out here at any time due to Comcast being Comcast. But look, man, I gotta thank Zac Conner, Zac the Ripper Conner of Zac the Ripper Comics on eBay. If you are a fan of comics, this dude has thousands and thousands, and he is not going to kill you on the cost. Please check it out. Zac, thanks for coming on. And like I said, it's been an adventure trying to get this thing to work. At least I know how to do it now without it being completely effed up. But yeah, any last words before we dip off?
Go Birds.
Yes.
We'll
and you'll see you later. That's my thing. Go Birds. We will both see you later. Thanks to everybody that joined on the midnight shift. Hopefully it won't be midnight next time. Thanks, Zac. And that's it. That's all we got for you guys. See ya.